Thank you for watching Master Jason Feng Shui. And today I will share with you how is it that from 28 stars constellation, we will be able to check the past life or past karmic relationship that we have. For example, you are married and sometimes you feel that you kind of owe your husband. It's like you always have to serve your husband, do whatever you can may to please your husband, do housework for the husband, etc. Sometimes you may wonder, is it true that like in previous life you owe him and you have to repay him certain form of karmic debt? And in terms of 20 stars constellation, or what we call 二十八星宿, it is actually something that will reflect our past life relationship very clearly. So without further ado, I will send out my video link to the Telegram group. And if you are interested to find out your past life relationship with the various people that are present within your life, for example, your parents, your children, your spouse, your wife, your girlfriend, or whoever, you may stay tuned and also find out more. Not only their personality characteristics, their life development, but also your past life relationship with them. And towards the end of the sharing, I will also allow some time for you to check how is the relationship that your current what we call, for example, spousal relationship, marital relationship, or parent-child relationship is affected by your previous life karma. So without further ado, I will simply go straight to the PowerPoint slide. Nonetheless, I also would like to emphasize one point is that a lot of clients, they come to me for consultation. After the consultation, they would often ask for advice as to, are there any solutions to my problems? Of course, in terms of astrological reading, or as what we call someone who is familiar with how karma work, our life is often influenced by the various factors. In Chinese, they are called 一命二运三风水，四子阴的五读书，六名七相八敬神，九教贵人十养生. They are run in such a sequence. In kind of like we believe that for example, 命and 运, which are your destiny and the so-called decade developments in your life, are something that may not be able to be greatly influenced or changed. Whereas other factors like feng shui, the cultivation of positive merits, and studying, and how you what we call present yourself, how you take care of your health, and the people you associate yourself with. These are the most important factors that will help to improve your life for the better. A lot of people, especially I would say female genders, they are greatly influenced by the family members they eventually choose. For example, in Chinese, there's a saying that goes like this: 婚姻是女人的第二次投胎. So it conveys the meaning that marriage is the second reincarnation for a woman. And I have personally observed many a times that when a woman has chosen a man who had a karmic debt relationship, means she's here to repay a karmic debt. Usually this kind of relationship is one that is very tedious and tiring, would often bring about obstacles and challenges to that female. So before you get married, it is also very important for you to take a look at whether your spouse is having a positive karmic relationship with you or a negative karmic relationship with you. Because ultimately, after investing your youth, your time, your energy, your resources into a marriage, and if eventually if the outcome is not a positive one, it will definitely bring a kind of definitely will influence you in a rather negative way. And if, on the other hand, you are able to find someone who is able to provide you emotional support, moral support, or even financial resources to have a reasonable living, of course, that will be a good thing. And that is often a matter of whether you're able to meet someone who has a positive karmic relationship with you. It's the same case for husband. Male gender people, if you're able to find a spouse that is having a positive relationship, that is able to support you, and also I bring about emotional and moral kind of support to your life, of course, that is a good thing. So we will just go straight to today's sharing, and you will be able to find out all these relationship using the following method. Of course, I have to touch a bit on the theoretical aspect of the 28 stars constellation first, because everything I say have to be backed up by historical and ancient texts. And all of them can be what we call further research upon by yourself during your free time. So I will give you all this information so that if you like to find out more, do feel free to remember all the keywords and do more AI or Google search on them, so that this will be something that you can apply in your own life for practical usage. And as I mentioned also, although feng shui is also a very important factor, but not all of us can change our feng shui every day, right? There are a lot of times feng shui is like you can only change it like once in a while, due to the fact that you don't move house every year, right? Some people, we buy a house and we stay there for like 20 years. And then how are we going to change? Because feng shui will often come with limitation. There are certain things that is related to the floor plan that you cannot change physically, right? For example, in Singapore context, BTO often comes with a corner or having a toilet at the center of the house. That's something that you can never change. You cannot ask the government to change the floor plan, right? The whole BTO floor plan have to be converted with the toilet at the side is impossible, yeah? And of course, cultivation of positive merits, studying, choosing the right partner, all these things are more easily what we call is things that you can have control over. So do take note of all these important factors that will influence your life, and they will bring about practical realistic changes. Rather than just buying whatever night gems or whatever, right? Remember, human decisions is often the most powerful choice in terms of the changing of destiny. So whatever I teach you also will help you to make better decisions in life. Right. So let's start with today's what we call the PowerPoint slide first. There are really many stars here in terms of the 28 stars constellation, and basically they can be divided into various subcategories. The azure dragon, the black tortoise, the white tiger, and the vermelia bird. 就是我们所说的金龙、玄武、白虎、朱雀. If you are familiar with feng shui, also these are the 4 factors that will influence our feng shui greatly, but they are actually the various categories of stars that are found within the universe. And with all these stars information, you will be able to decode your past life relationship, personality, and life development likewise. So what are the 28 stars that are present within the astrological solar system? The 28 lunar mansions are the classical Chinese division of the sky along the moon's monthly path. A constellation system used in Chinese astronomy, astrology, 八字 auxiliary readings, 奇门, and feng shui selection. So 28 stars are actually something that is greatly associated with other schools of astrological reading also, and also feng shui, due to the fact that a lot of our what we call astrological system depend on the 28 stars energy to function. Thank you very much, baby girl, for watching, and also how do I pronounce Amen? Can I pronounce over? Thank you very much for being here tonight. So I'll try my best to share in English, and for really difficult information, I will use Chinese. Yeah, like some of the terms are rather hard to translate directly, but I will try my best to speak most of the time in English. So basically, each mansion governs one day in a rotating 28-day cycle. The mansion ruling the day of your birth becomes your birth mansion, what we call 本命书, a deep signature of personality, karmic patterning, and the kinds of relationships fated to recur across lifetimes. So this is just a simple diagram to tell you that the Lofton categories are related to the 水母, is at the Lofton sky, and the eastern, western sky, and the southern sky, etc. For example, east is related to 青龙, Azure dragon, west is related to 白虎, and south is related to the 朱雀. So there is actually a difference between the 27 stars constellation and the 28 stars constellation. A lot of people are confused between the two. And theoretically, this is the background. And I have included the research theoretical explanation so that you will not be confused. The Buddhist astrology to the Chinese sky, it is what we call in Chinese called the 源流密宗占星法之传承. So it is very related to 密宗, if you are familiar, is very much associated with the Buddhist practice or belief system, more towards the Tibetan style, Tibetan tradition. The mentioned definition tradition 本性宿命算法 originates from Buddhist astrology, 就是密教占星法哈, and was transmitted to China through the spread of Buddhism from India. So if you are if you are Buddhist and you are familiar with the what we call history of Buddhism, Buddhism was actually a religious belief that was brought over from India to China, and we have often watch movies about like Journey to the West. You will know that the Sun Wukong and the Monkey King and the Tan Sangzhuang, they actually went to the West to what we call to obtain the scripture, the ultimate Buddhist scripture. And of course, it's a very interesting story about, actually it's a story that's about inner journey. Yeah. It's really not about going to the West, India, but nonetheless, I will not digress. So just remember, this style of astrological reading is derived from India, but ultimately it was adopted into a Chinese astrological system. So that's the reason why there would be like what we call two schools. One school is called the 28 mansion, 二十八星宿, or 二十八色, or 二十八星, divide the sky along the ecliptic and celestial equator into 28 regions, grouped by position into the four guardians, as earlier mentioned. But in India tradition, the Liu Shu, they kind of subsim. Subsim means like to bring together this Liu Shu into Lu Shu. And 27 mentions reflect observation from lower latitudes where star angles and brightness differ from northern China. So taking into the consideration of the geographical location of India and China, when you look at the sky, it will of course give you a different picture. So that's the reason why when it is being adopted into China, the Liu Shu preserved as a distinct mansion. 28 mansions reflect observation from the Yellow River basin. So due to different angle, you will have different visible brightness of this different stars in the sky. So in practice, this 28 mansion system in the Chinese refinement of an originally 27 mansion Indian tradition, the same celestial frame, but observed from a different latitude. So that's the reason why you have both the 27 stars and the 28 stars differences. Not really a differences, they are looking at the same sky from a different angle. So that's the reason why, do not be confused. It's just a matter of being at a different geographical location, looking at the same sky. But you observe different brightness of the sky. So just to give you a very quick introduction, under the Azure dragon or the Dongfang Qinglong, we have the Jiao Shu, we have the Gan Shu, we have the Di, Fang, Xun, Xing, Wei, Qi. And under the northern sky, we have the Dou, Liu, Lu, Xu, Wei, Shi, Bi. Under the western sphere of the sky, we have the Kui, Lu, Wei, Mao, Bi, Zhi, Zhen. Under the southern sky, we have the Jing, Kui, Gui, Liu, Xing, Zhang, Yi, Zhen. So basically, you will definitely be falling into one of these, what we call sky star. The 38 stars will definitely be associated with your birthday, definitely. So it's a matter of how you calculate it. Of course, there is a matter of calculating it. I will try to give you that chart, yeah. But all right, let me try to give you that chart first, and to see. Right, that is actually a table that allowed you to double check on where exactly is your star, your birthday star, so to speak. Yeah. So I will try to enlarge it, and basically referring to this chart, you'll be able to decode very clearly which star is your date of birth belonging to. So all this information can of course be found in Google. And for example, we will use the lunar date of birth for this founding of the or establishing which star your date of birth belong to. So you have to first of all convert your Gregorian date of birth to the lunar date of birth. Let's say if you are born on the, in terms of lunar calendar, if you're born on the uh, July, lunar calendar July, let's say is 29, 29. So you can see it will be falling into the Yisu. Yeah, July is here, right? July is here. And then if you are born in on the 29, you will be having this Yisu. So this table is something that you can screenshot, or later on you can ask me. I can actually send you this table to your WhatsApp, or I will just post it onto the Facebook page. And by referring to this table, right, you can actually screenshot it right now if you want, so that later on you can simply look at the stars characteristics and know that which is your star. But remember, most importantly, first of all, convert your Gregorian calendar date of birth into the lunar date of birth first. Then you will be able to, based on your lunar date of birth, to find out which star is your date of birth associated to. Right, I will pause here for a while in case you want to screenshot it. Right, I should try to make it into like a screenshot friendly kind of size. So are y'all guys done? Right, if y'all guys are done, this is the second table. Yeah, this is the table that is like from 17 to 30th. So once you are done with the screenshot, keep it in your phone, because later on I will explain to you what are the personality and life development that is related to a particular star, and ultimately be able to also find out the relationship that are existing in your life, whether it's a positive relationship or a negative relationship, right? It is very crucial, as I mentioned, especially for female gender. You want to find out whether your husband is here to like torture you or to give you a good life, is something that you can observe from this relationship as well. And in my many years of experience conducting astrological reading using this method, it is highly accurate. People who have a negative relationship or karmic debt relationship will often divorce. Yeah. And people who are having a harmonious relationship, and you often observe that they are either the best friend in their previous life, or they are already family members in their previous life. And I cannot deny that a lot of times the marital relationships that we had is like the partner that we are with did have a kind of karmic, what we call um, association. It's either you owe that person or that person owe you. That's why sometimes marriage can be a kind of torture, right? Yeah, because there are a lot of karmic forces at play when we kind of like in a marriage, right? Either you have to pay back some certain kind of karmic debt, and so some of the things that this mention will show you is also your karmic signature in this lifetime, and also Each mansion encodes a past life architect. Whether you were a warrior, a scholar, a man, what we call like merchant, or a courtier, or attendant, or recluse, or healer. Some of us, like, we are born with this tendency to love certain career choice. For example, some people love to be a doctor, some people love to be a healer, some people love to be an astrologer like me, some people like to go into the army, some people like to be a teacher. So all these tendency or preferences are also influenced greatly by our past life role. And whether you are currently in this lifetime continuing your past life mission is something that can be observed also with this 28 stars constellation astrological reading. And of course, the most important point is your karmic bond. Cross-reference partners mentions recurring soul bonds, or is the relationship related to debts or unfinished obligations? Sometimes you will meet someone in life, and suddenly there's these inner feelings that you can't explain. Like, you feel a sense of belonging when being with that person. You cannot explain why. Like, you have met someone before, although it's the first time you are meeting that person, and then eventually that relationship grow into a very significant relationship in your life, and you also cannot explain why. Yeah, due to the many infinite turns, coincidences in life, and both of you are able to have a very closed or mutually understanding, mutually beneficial relationship. You cannot explain why, but these karmic bonds are something that can be explained clearly from this 20 stars constellation. And lastly, read the mentions developmental art. What was left undone in past life is now the word of this current life. So how are you going to find out whether it's a positive relationship? Of course, I will only be using one example today, because I will not be able to generate the 28 stars table for you, but you can definitely find it online. Actually, there are several softwares that can actually automatically plot this for you. So with a certain hardware on your own, you will definitely be able to find the calculator or the table that you can refer to. Just that if you would like to use this type of uh, analysis to clearly identify who is your, for example, past life relationship partner, past life family member, or whether it's a supportive or a damaging kind of relationship, I have to explain several terms first. For example, in the 9 karmic roles, as shown within this table, I will use the yi as the date of birth of the person. And of course, you have to definitely find out the rest, the other type of table, which are available online, because it'll be too long-winded for me to publish everything, like from Yisu all the way to Zhenshu. But most importantly is for you to be clear over the concept first. For example, the Ming, of course, this person Ming is here, right? So Yi is actually you, like very much like the day master in terms of body reading, or the Ming Gong, or the self domain in terms of Zui Dou Su. So it presents your own birth mention, origin point of the wheel, which is here. And ultimately, you find all kinds of words like Rong, Qing, You, An, Chen, Ye, Ai, Wei, Huai. And I will explain one by one. The Rong, which is translated into the English word glory, it is basically a positive relationship. And if someone is having the Yong relationship with you, for example, the Yi person will be having the Yong relationship with someone having this B relationship. So this person will actually bring about prosperity, recognition, and uplifting, helping this person to succeed in life. So this is basically a positive karmic relationship. Of course, we do have other form of karmic relationship. Qing, which is translated into the word kin. Kin, of course, is like kingship, like family member. So most of the time, it is also a positive relationship. It is like having someone who is so family bond. Deep intimacy and trust would also often be experienced in this kind of relationship. Qing, of course, is very related to the word closest also. So usually this person who is of Qing will be having a very close relationship. For example, in this case, as a Yi, kind of life chat or life domain. Qing is actually the Zhang. Zhang is actually the family member. Or will like that person will actually have this feeling give you this feeling you have a like this sense of closeness that somehow you feel that this person is your family member. The next relationship we have is friend relationship, is a supportive friendship and easy companionship. And also, An is a peaceful relationship. It is a calming presence, stability, and no conflict. And we also have the Chen, which is an achievement of relationship. It's a productive collaboration, success through their presence in your life. And we also have the Ye. Ye, which is related to career development, we often bring about like work and duty ties. Neutral, transactional. Once the work is finished, both of you will no longer have any relationship or interaction. Nonetheless, there are three particular relationships that we must be very cautious. The first one is called the Xu. Xu, or what we call decline in English. This person will drain your energy and erodes your wealth slowly. For example, if I'm having Yi as my date of birth, and that person is having Xu, so this Xu will definitely cause your money to be drained away, will bring about destruction to your saving, to your ability to earn money, etc. And this way, which is danger, is a conflict-prone relationship, often bring about friction and sudden loss. And the last negative relationship is associated with this Huai, which is called harm, and is actively damaging, will cut the bond if mishandled. So I have highlighted the positive relationships in blue color, the negative relationships in red color, and the closely intimate relationship or trust relationship in yellow color. Ultimately, you have to look at this table. There will be one that you can find online. Yeah, I will not be able to publish the 28 tables because it's too time consuming. But ultimately, what is most important is for you to understand the concepts behind it. So basically, if you have the Jiao date of birth, you will have the following personality. You'll be someone who is highly pioneering, sharp-witted, naturally takes the lead, articulate and ambitious, will be first to step into the unknown ground. And you will often have past life as warriors, pioneers, or frontline officers, karmic ties from those they once led or protected. And in this current lifetime, you will bring recognition through courage. Midlife success demands learning, patience, and humility. So, of course, there are various kinds of description for the 28 stars. I'm not sure if I should like go through one by one. Do you want me to go through one by one? If not, right, I will just run through the slide, yeah, so that right, you guys can just screenshot. I can just simply read through, yeah, quickly, because most importantly, I believe most of you will want to go directly to the practical analysis, which I can do that for you within today's sharing. So I will just quickly run through, yeah, their favorite stars, and maybe I will just take 3 minutes to run through the favorite stars. Like for example, I have mentioned Jia Kan. This star will be having like a proper principled, refined in speech, holds high standard for self and others, and can be stiff, lacked. And past lives are often like scholars, officers, and ministers. Relationship re-emerge around duty, propriety, and unfinished obligations. So in this life, your development will bring prosperity, honor, but arrogance will break it. So soften your spine and keep the principles is something that's very important. And the next star, the D, will also be someone who is very grounded, family rooted, hardworking, provider, moods run deep but rarely surface. And the past life as builders, farmers, household elders, relationships return through blood, land, and home. In this lifetime, stability is the gift and the trap. Anchor others without losing yourself. But of course, there are actually more information related to this kind of stars. But for today's sharing, which is a live broadcast that will last about an hour, I will not be like able to touch on each of them in depth. I will just quickly read through. So for Fang, it will bring about someone having the personality that is noble, charismatic, generous, host, carries an inherent dignity, slip into indulgence if unchecked, past life in courts and noble houses, karmic patrons, and protectors appearing gallantry meets all depths. In this lifetime, born under favor, refinement of character determines whether the inheritance lasts. So, Sing is passionate, devoted, intensely emotional, loves and reacts with full hearts, fast to flare, slow to forget. Past life as lovers parted by fate or duty, the strongest karmic romance mentioned magnetic recurring soul bonds. In this lifetime, love is the lesson. Learn to hold fire without burning the hand that holds it. A lot of my friends who are of the heart star often have relationship problems in life. Yeah, by the way, right? So this is something that you have to take into consideration also when you look at someone's chart. Right, Wei Su is like people who are strong-willed, late blooming, family blessed, the quiet force that holds the line. I have know some of my clients who are of the Wei Su. They are often born in a rich family and have a family business that is like able to bless them with money throughout their life. Nonetheless, they will only achieve their success later in life. And past life as protectors, guardians, loyal, generous relationships return through lifelong duty bonds. And this lifetime lesson is patience. Yeah, what looks slow in youth becomes legacy in later years. Qi resourceful people, talkative, persuasive, and lives by their spoken word, also wounded by it. Past life as merchants, messengers, storytellers, relationship reform through conversation and trade. This lifetime, mark your tongue, and then speech builds mental the what we call will dismantle your fortune. And the next star we have is the right. So the Lofton Sky Star, we just quickly run through. Yeah, you guys can just screenshot and ultimately do further research on your own because a lot of information, right, can be found. Yeah, nowadays we are so technologically advanced. So we also have the Dosu. Dosu is related to just righteous lateral data. See rise and wrong sharply, sometimes too sharply. So you have to learn to kind of like sometimes you know that you have to learn that sometimes love is more than black and white. Yeah. So past life as judges, magistrates, military officers, and officials are coming returns through cases of fathers left unsolved. And this lifetime lesson lead with mercy as well as law. Power without compassion drains the well. Yep. So after that, we also have the. I will just quickly run through, yeah, because I don't want to be too wordy and long-winded. Liu Shu people who are of the Liu Shu are very patient, persevering, slow burning, won't be hurried, but doesn't stop either. They are very like steady kind of person. Past life in steady labor like farmers, craftsmen, household keepers, relationships built on quiet endurance, and rewards arrive late but arrives whole. Trust the long art. Liu Shu people of the Liu Shu are very sensitive, refined, are often underestimated. Reads rooms before speaking, past lives are like attendants, handmaidens, quiet companions to power relationships return with all roles of service. So this life, self-worth is the word. Stop measuring your value by who you serve. And she, resourceful people, observant, secretive strategists who prefer the back of the room. And past life as advisors, hidden scholars, behind the throne strategists, karmic bonds with those they once whispered to. And this lifetime will be discretion is power, but secrecy without trust, isolated. Trust choose one confidence. Wei Su people are often adventurous, restless, ambitious, risk taker. Comfort feels like a cage. And past life as travelers, exiles, far bound officials, relationships reform across distance and reunion. And this lifetime, you have to be rooted somewhere. Even swallows return to the same eaves. And for Shi Shu is related to generous, sociable, fortune favor. Doors open easily, gates close late. So past life as hostess, innkeepers, households, patrons, karmic returns through hospitality and shared tables. Abundance is given to be shared, but practice prudence, excess hollows the storehouse. So I will just read a few more. Yeah. Later, I will just look at your date of birth and tell you which what we call which star you have, because it's just too time consuming. I will just quickly run through, let you screenshot the slide so that you won't find these too wordy. Yeah. So identify the various stars that you are associated to, and after that you'll be able to tell more about your star. For example, you are of the Bishu, you are powerful, strategic, war favorite, commanding presence, fights battle, others avoid. Past life as soldiers, generals, frontier commanders, relationships often fought under conflict and rescue. And this lifetime, power without restraint becomes the next karma. So view it as service Lord signature. So of course, right, you can further look at the favorite stars, screenshot them, and just look at the date of birth. Again, the table that you can refer to. So all these are the favorite stars characteristics. And of course, as I mentioned, now we have all kinds of technology available. You will definitely be able to explore further. For example, you are of the Yisu, you will be extremely talented, expressive, but restless. You cannot stop your mind from thinking. And you have many gifts, but also have many directions in life. So pick one that is suitable for you slowly. Do not rush. Your past life as messengers, performers, traveling artists, and karmic returns through audience and all creative partners. So, like for Yisu people, okay, to be honest, I'm of a Yisu. So you can see that I have like often have to speak to audience, I have to conduct like speaking, public speaking, so-called public speaking online, and also conduct lessons for my students. And I also kind of talk a lot because I'm like, in my past life, I was actually a messenger or traveling artist. So I will return as such also like, having an audience, and also have, karmic returns through audience and all creative partners. So in this lifetime, I'm very likely to meet people who are very creative also, because in previous life we could have like met and work together. And in this lifetime, winds are for landing too. Pick the patch that holds you, not the one that flatters you. So for my lesson in life, for example, I have to find somewhere that allowed me to rest, allowed me to be stable in my development, and that will be my lifetime lesson. So basically, you can also check which is your lifetime lesson by looking at which star you are associated to. Okay, so come to the most important part. Yeah, I will start doing the practical analysis for you guys very soon. Just last few slides. Yeah. So finding your birth mention, as I mentioned, you can often refer to the table, and you can often read the relationship. Compare your mention with your partners, family members, or business associates. Same direction pairs share elemental affinity. Opposing direction create karmic tensions or magnetic attraction. The recurring partners across lifetime show themselves in the pairing and integrating with Bao and Zui Su also. Yeah. Ultimately, the mention overlays a karmic narrative onto Baozi day master analysis and Zui Su palette structure, giving the past life context that pure pillar reading does not contain. So this is an important point. Most of the time, during my consultation with my clients, besides using 八字主维斗数, I will also use this 28 stars constellation to check on their past life relationship, especially for those who are in a working relationship, like partnership, business partnership, or husband and wife relationship, because it's very important. Who you marry is extremely important. Whether that person is here to help you or to harm you, can be checked using this system of analysis. And due to the fact that a lot of the people following my live broadcasts or videos, they are often beginners in Basel and Zuidosu learning, and they cannot really decode their chart. But this 28 stars constellation system of analysis is very direct and straightforward. Basically, you don't need your time of birth. You just need your date of birth in lunar format, and you'll be able to tell like immediately, right? Your soul makes, like who are your soulmates? Soul meets by all ties. Every significant relationship in this life carries an unfinished thread from another. 就是因缘相聚 and 业力相还 karmic cycles, depths of harm or kindness rebalance through the same mentioned archetypes that once created them. So some people are here to claim the loans that they have given to you in previous life. So somehow you have to like return that to that person and 攻克当下 like in this lifetime to work now. So what? Like knowing that relationship, how should you look at that relationship? What the past life left undone becomes the developmental task of this birth mentioned. So ultimately, you'll be able to understand fully why is it that some people will hurt you, some people will kind of be separated from you eventually. Some people are here to accompany you throughout your life, and some people just give you this sense of belonging, even though you just meet them for the first time, and you feel like you have known them the entire life. Yeah. So now I will just give you the floor. Yeah, give you the floor. Are you guys ready? If you do have your date and time of birth, do feel free to type it into the comments, and I will be able to check for you what are the kind of relationships that you have with your husband or wife or children or whoever. Yeah. And of course, I often want my live broadcast to be more practical and to interact with you guys. So if you guys are like still watching and you want me to do the analysis for you, you are welcome. So I will just wait for a few minutes, yeah, because I know that you guys sometimes are not ready, and sometimes like still digesting what I'm trying to say. But since I'm still waiting, and I will just take a look at some of the comments. Elsa Zhao, thank you very much for watching also, and feel free to let me know your date and time of birth. And as I wait for your input, I will also share some of the information that are related to the favorite stars that I mentioned earlier on, like some of the famous people. For example, earlier on, I have mentioned people like people of the heart mentioned favorites, famous people like Princess Diana. Princess Diana actually is of the Sing Su, so I also did mention that people who have the Sing Su will often experience relationship problems in life. And Princess Diana is definitely a very classic archetype. You know that she was married to Prince Charles, but ultimately divorced. Then she had another relationship with a billionaire's son or something, but ultimately they died together in a so-called car accident. Was it an accident? I don't know. Yep. So right. Thank you very much for your input. Yep. So I will quickly do an analysis for you guys. So okay. Can I pronounce your name as Aman? So Aman, I will or Amen. I pardon me. Yeah, because different countries they do have different pronunciation. But I do see your date and time of birth. And your wife date and time of birth also. And I will quickly conduct the analysis for you and your wife. You were born in 1983, June the 5th, and the wife's date of birth is 1977, and the date is November the 8th. So, in terms of your karmic relationship with your wife, let me mention first, you are of the okay. Let me write it for you first. This okay. Let me turn on the tablet first. All right, and then with visual, you'll be able to understand everything clearer. Okay, where is my tablet? All right, just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit, and of course, it's live sharing, so I have to handle everything by myself. And I am turning on the writing tablet right now. And then just remember, this is your star, right? This is your star, Amen. And your wife, I will first of all write the star that is related to yours first. Right. Uh, just waiting for the tablet. Once again, some issue here. Right. What happened? All right. So I turn on the wrong app. So for Amen, your star is this in terms of Chinese reading, yeah, is this is your star. And for your wife, I will write your name. And for your wife, this is the what we call the star that is associated with your wife. And just to give you the English, what we call the pronunciation also, so that you I believe that you are not Chinese, so it will be better for me to give you the Hanyu Pinyin. This is the Kui Su, and this is the Guan Su. Yeah, so you can further find out all these stars characteristics online. But as according to past life relationship, yeah, your relationship with your wife is one that is of a relationship in which you owe your wife a karmic debt. So in this lifetime, you will definitely love your wife and take care of your wife very much. And you will find yourself to be someone who is willing to go extra length to please your wife, or kind of provide her whatever that is the best things in life, so to speak. Yeah. So this will be your relationship with your wife. And of course, the in terms of the personality and the characteristics, basically, you can refer to my earlier slide, and if not, do further research on your own. Yeah, using the what I call, there are really a lot of information that you can refer to. But just to quickly give you perhaps like your of this what we call the Kui. So in terms of personality, you have this very cultured, refined, literary. Like you are someone who like to study, who is someone who like to learn, like to find out more about the different types of wisdom belonging to different countries, and you do have this move that's sweet like water, but you are deeply creative. At the same time, easily wounded. So in terms of relationship, you do have to guide against, you know, sometimes having emotional turmoil. And in past life, you were actually like poor calligraphers, court literati, and relationships reform through aesthetic and intellectual recognition. So in this lifetime, you will definitely be someone who is highly intelligent. And in this lifetime development, you must learn to share your work, your gifts hidden in the drawer becomes regrets. Like wherever you learn, try to use it as a form of service for humanity. So that will be able to like not putting your your talents to waste because you are highly talented. And for your wife, you will actually have a wife who is highly principled, a proud person, someone who is refined in speech and hold high standard for herself and others. Sometimes can be stiff-legged or even stubborn. So past life, she could be a scholar, officials type of people, or a minister. Relationships re-emerge around duty, propriety, and unfinished obligations. And in this lifetime, honor brings prosperity. Arrogance breaks it. So soften the pride and keep principles is something that you should remember as the wife. Yep. Right. So where am I? Right. I kind of suddenly disappeared. Right. I'm still here. So basically, that's how we can determine the karmic relationship. So knowing that, as the wife, that is like you will receive the blessing of your husband. So of course, for the wife, is definitely something like you should learn to cherish your husband. All right, if you are the wife. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at how do I pronounce this name? Uh, I yeah. Saja. I will also plot your chart and also help you to understand your what we call date of birth characteristics. And do you have someone like a partner? Yeah, I see that you have a partner. So you were born in 1974, right? 1974. And then your date of birth is May the 4th. And your relationship partner, right, is 1971, and the month of birth is November the 25th. Okay, so are you ready? Are you still here? I will just call. Allow me to call you if you don't mind. Zhao. All right, Zhao, are you still here? Zhao, if you are still here, I will first of all write down your star first, so that you will be able to understand which star your date of birth is associated to. All right, in terms of the star that you are having, Zhao. All right, so I will just write your name as Zhao. Your star is the Shi Su. All right, I believe you can understand Chinese, yeah. So I will not write the what we call the Hanyu Pinyin, and then your partner's chart is having the. I will just write your partner having the Shi. So in terms of past karma, your star as a Shi will be having a this relationship is one that is more related to a career, or like both of you were actually a kind of like business or work partner in previous life. What we call in terms of the calculation is called a year. Yeah, of course, is beside related to work, career. Sometimes is also related to someone being reincarnated at the same time as you. Like both of you actually die at the same place. Reincarnate. Okay, let me try to reincarnate. Same place and time. Yeah, same place and time. Yeah, so 也是一个业障的一个关系. So both of you definitely have very strong karmic tie, and in one way or the other, but you may also have a kind of work relationship. I'm not sure if already having one, or like we'll have some kind of business venture together in this lifetime. So, and of course, in terms of the characteristics, I will also try to touch on it a little bit. So, if Zhao has any feedback, please feel free to let me know. Yeah, and also you can kind of like describe: is it the case that both of you are planning to have some kind of work projects together, or like starting some business together, or both of you have similar work nature? Or like in one way or the other, both of you are able to help each other at work, etc. Yeah. So just to touch on some of the characteristics that are related to your date of birth also. And as I mentioned, you can often find out more from your whatever, like your whatever like internet tools that you have, yeah, which is like really common nowadays. Like all of us are able to use different kind of tool to right. So as the Shi, yeah, you are actually having this personality wise, you will be someone who is grounded, family rooted, hardworking, is someone who like to provide for other people. Moods run deep but rarely surface. In past life, you could be a builder, farmers, household elders, relationships return through blood, land, and home. And in this lifetime, stability is the gift and the thread. Anchor others without losing yourself. So these are the things that you have to take note of in terms of this life lesson. Of course, I will also try to look at your partner's personality and characteristics. But overall, it's very much a kind of relationship due to certain strong karmic consequences that both of you have, especially like the imperial side. Perhaps, yeah, just for example, both of you were like doing a war, both of you died together in a hospital, like next to each other, or like at the same time. So often it's a kind of like strong karmic relationship. And for this kind of relationship, sometimes could lead to marriage, and what we call husband and wife relationship. And that relationship is often one that is very close also. And in one way or another, in the future, both of you may actually have works that are like what we call shared between each other. Yep. All right. So these are the characteristics that are associated with your partners. your partner is actually of the 是. Yeah, 是 is actually what we call the, okay, let me try to turn on this, how do I, right. Okay, I will just read it with the slide so that you can have some background info related to your partner as well. So people of the 是 Shu, all right, will be having the generous, sociable, and fortune personality, and also fortune favorite. Means throughout their life, they are usually very lucky, and doors open easily for them. And past life are usually like houses, household patriarchs. Karmic returns through hospitality and shared tables. Abundance given to be shared. So usually quite kind of what we call financially speaking, they are usually quite well to do. And of course, I mentioned you often can look at that person's 28 stars constellation with their 八字 also or 紫微斗数. So maybe just for just for case study, I will also plug Zhao's partner chart, because as mentioned by 28 stars constellation, that partner that she has is likely to be wealthy. So 1971, and the date of birth is the November 25th. Of course, I don't have the time of birth. And if Zhao, you have your partner's time of birth, you may actually mention so that I can do a Bazi reading on that. And as reflected by the Bazi chart, this person born in the year, just to double check, 1971, November 25th, is definitely a strong day master of Jia Wood. And when this person is able to enter decade trends that are strong in the fire and earth element, he will become wealthy. Yeah. So that is coherent with the 28 stars constellation description. So I often encourage, not encourage, but usually I will cross-check in my consultation to see this is the case. If both schools mention that that person is likely to be wealthy, this person is having all the resource factor and the companions factor at the roots, at the earth branches, so to speak. And this wealth star is having a combination relationship with the day master. And currently, actually after 2012, he has rather positive development already entering into this way, which is an earth element, followed by another Wu of branch decade. Shi is Wu is fire, Shi is fire, Chen is also earth. So all this decade will bring about great wealth to his life. So that's how we conduct a very thorough reading. That is my style. Like when you come to my consultation, I would often cross-check using various astrological methods that I perceive to be reliable and accurate to help you come to a proper understanding of your own destiny and advise accordingly as to whether that person is suitable to be your business partner or spouse partner. So for Zhao, yeah, he's suitable. Yeah, you can like grab this guy. Yeah, make sure that right. Ultimately, of course, I'm quite sure both of you love each other also, and he will do well financially. So he's someone that will be able to provide for you, take care of you in the future. All right, great zone. Yeah, so great zone. I will also do a quick reading for you. All right, you mentioned that you already checked. Is it? You mentioned that you are of the heart. All right. All right. So right. Great zone. Just to double check for you, or do you have any relationship partner in life that you want to touch on, so that I will also be able to check for you immediately. And for your chat, great zone. You are of the Shi Shu. I'm not sure how you get the Xing, but using a proper calculation, you're actually of the Shi. Shi is very much like the same chart as that Zhao's partner, yeah, Zhao. So I will just turn on that slides again. Right, this is Fang and where is Shi. So for someone who have this Shi, as mentioned, usually someone who is able to accumulate wealth in life. Yeah. So great song, congratulations. You are likely to be wealthy in this lifetime. Since you have not provided me with any like family members or loved ones date of birth, so I will just let you take a look at this star that is associated to your date of birth, and of course you can do further research on that. And Amen. Thank you, Master. I'm learning today from you and sharing them. Yes, thank you very much for. Yes, I know. Of course, I know you are my student, and actually, Amen is my Zhuai Shu student, and he belongs to a different culture, not Chinese, not based in Singapore, but interestingly, he is also interested in Zhuai Shu and using it to help the other people in his life. And of course, as I mentioned, Eamon is someone highly intelligent and someone who loves learning very much. And so he's coherent with the description of the Tantric Stars constellation. So really, Tantric Stars constellation, simple, direct, straightforward, and easy to use. And so before you get a boyfriend or girlfriend, look at his date of birth first. So to prevent yourself from heartache and like emotional suffering. Yeah, right. So okay, Gray Zone actually a parent is a father or mother. All right. Anyway, I will just do the calculation for you. 1946, and the date of birth is August 11. And the karmic relationship, as reflected by Tantric Stars constellation, both of you are actually having the same star. All right, it is extremely, extremely close karmic relationship. It's very much like, how do I put it? It's one of the strongest karmic relationship in terms of the Tantric Stars constellation. So I try to explain to you what that means, right? In terms of the Tantric Stars constellation, both of you actually are of the same star. And in that sense, it means that both of you have extremely strong karmic tie in this life, in this current life. Okay. As mentioned earlier on, Gray Zone, you are of this Shi. This parent is the father or mother that you are checking. Anyway, both of you have the same Shi, Shi Shu. This is Shu. So in terms of past karmic relationship, it is one that is highly compatible. Both of you were born, like have been reincarnating again and again within the same environment. Yeah. So both of you, right, are like will have a lot of what we call soul entanglement. 灵体共存, what it means 灵体共存. So in a way, you have been together in the same kind of dimension. Of course, you like to call it like previous life or at a different dimension is up to you. Yeah, because the truth is that we exist in a multiverse. You this version at this current universe, you can be somewhere else at another universe existing with a different version of you. Yeah, go and watch some more Marvels kind of like movies. You kind of understand what I mean. But nonetheless, you have been together for more than a few incarnations already. So in terms of the subconscious mind, in terms of what we call the characteristics or personality, both of you may have a lot of what we call mutual kind of similarity. Or actually you will copy that each other in terms of behaviors or attitude. So ultimately, I will say, yeah, this kind of relationship will kind of 很有缘分啊，微鹏这样去形容，就是说呢，你们今生重逢啊，说你们的那个灵魂啊，根本就是同一类的啊，都是同一种灵魂啊，可是说在不同的那个身体里面的哈。So that's your mom, yeah. So a very close relationship, yeah, is an extremely close relationship, yeah. Right. Okay. You both of you argue a lot, yeah. But doesn't mean that both of you are the same. You won't argue, yeah. You will still argue, right? Because sometimes, if like in terms of body reading, also the same element will clash. What we call a 福音 福音啊，福音啊。It's not like the same, then you will not have clashes. 福音 is often like same heavily stems and up branches, right? Heavily stems and up branches. Because both of you are so same that sometimes there will be kind of like I don't know, it's kind of like where like very much like a Fu Ying relationship. Yeah. But both of you will really have very strong karmic ties, yeah, within this lifetime. Yeah. So not a bad thing. Sometimes actually, to be honest, a positive, harmonious relationship sometimes is like different people have different temperament or characteristics or personality. Then they can supplement each other's shortcomings. Oftentimes, both in terms of human relationships, I mean, normal friendship, family relationship, or work relationship, is often when two people are extremely the same that will bring about conflict. It's strange like that because both of them are one-sided in a way. So their views are often very biased towards a particular angle or perspective. That's why conflicts is because they are not able to supplement each other with compatible differences. So that's why Fu Ying also is a Bazi relationship that often bring about conflicts. People who have the spouse domain or the day master or the day pillar having Fu Ying often will, like for example, all right, 你们懂得谁是容祖儿啊？容祖儿啊？The Hong Kong singer called 容祖儿。容祖儿对吗？我不懂华语，他的名字是怎么样读啊？因为我的汉语拼音是很糟糕啊。可是说，你们去查一下容祖儿啊，周一用是吗？他的八字都是有一个福音关系的啊。如果我没有错的话，我就因为我比较喜欢想到什么告诉你们啊，因为始终呢 real life case study 是很好的一件事情哦。OK， 我们看一下容祖儿还是容祖啊？容祖儿，so let's check 容祖兒生日啊。If I'm not wrong, yeah, because sometimes I have done a lot of case study, and sometimes certain people's chart will just prop up in my mind when I talk about something. So my mind often runs in a very literal thinking style. So it's like I will jump from one point to another. So please don't mind me. Yeah, I'm not a coherent kind of thinker. I'm like I have sideway kind of thinking. Yeah. Right, so you look at 容祖兒，祖兒用啦I don't know is 容祖兒還是容祖兒他的名字啊。If you are not what we call familiar who this person is, this is容祖兒, one of the most famous what we call candle pop queen in Hong Kong. So I try to show you her picture. So this is her picture. Yeah, this is her picture. 容祖兒, yeah. 周一用. Yeah, so right, go and find out her date of birth. So right, let's do a case study together for 容祖兒啊，容祖兒還是容祖兒，我真的不知道。可是說呢，我們看一下他的那個we can take a look at his 八字 chart first, yeah. And if you were to look at his 八字 chart, you will know that he is having the 福音at the what we call the day pillar, right? This gun what we call the gun sun here, yeah, this gun sun here. All right, I'm not able to. Can I screenshot this? Let me try to screenshot this. Yeah. Right. Hopefully, I'm able to screenshot this and try to draw on it. Yeah, I can do that. So right, you can look at Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm not very familiar with how this works, but okay, never mind. Anyway, yeah. So we can see that Gunsen is having Gunsen Fu Ying. Yeah, these are Gunsen and Gunsen Fu Ying. Yeah. I will just write down. Yeah, her day of birth. Yeah, the day master. Yeah, Nhật Yuan. What we call Nhật Yuan is of the Gunsen. Year of birth. What we call Lin. Sun Lin is also Gunsen. So you will realize that because in terms of budget rating, this is the spouse domain, right? 我们的夫妻宫就在这边嘛。然后呢，他的夫妻宫，其實呢，你們懂得楊受成啊，楊受成啊，你哋知唔知邊個係楊受成啊？楊受成 is the Albert Young 啊。You guys can research on that. Albert Young is the was actually he still is. I mean, he's a very rich guy. Rumor has it that Joey Yong, Yong Joey, right, let me write down Yong Joey, and this Yuan Shaoxing actually had a romantic relationship. And in terms of birth reading, you can see that the spouse domain sun is actually having the same element, as the year of birth, of branch. In terms of birth reading, this year of birth would often be associated with elders. So you can see that Yong Zhouyi, or Zhouyi Yong, I just call her Zhouyi Yong, is dating a much older guy called Yuan Shaoxing. Yuan Shaoxing. Yuan Shaoxing is actually was a founder under what we call chairman of Emperor Group. You know what is Emperor Group, yeah? 我们叫做香港那个Emperor Group 呢，就是香港一个很有钱的一个集团啊 ，is a very rich organization. Collaborate 英皇集團 in Hong Kong we call it the 英皇集團。So this 英皇集團 was like they have various businesses selling watches, jewelry, entertainment industry like liquors,謝霆鋒謝霆鋒 is also under this 謝霆鋒謝霆鋒 I kind of like have to find out their English name for the English viewers. So 謝霆鋒 you know who is that guy? The 謝霆鋒, a rather handsome singer and actor. Nicholas Xie is under this group, by this Albert, whoever, Albert Yuan Shaoxing, So what I'm trying to say is that without digressing too much, yes, 有一个福音它有一个福音这是有一个福音的。这个福音是代表什么呢 ？Eventually, the romantic relationship will bring about problems and difficulties to the relationship partner. And if you understand the current development of Albert Yong is currently at the age of 83 already, by the way. But now he's facing a lot of debts due to the various banks in Hong Kong calling loans. Calling loans in what sense? Like when the what we call in terms of economic explanation. So what happened is that when you run a business, of course you often will finance your business through loans, right? Like a lot of like bank loans, and there will be like a situation whereby due to your inability to finance the loans, you will go into severe liquidity crisis. And that is what is happening to Albert Yong right now. So as reported by the news, he is currently under debts that is amounting to HK dollars, 16.6 billion. So yes, Joey Yong is also having this Fu Ying in her chart. So usually at the end of the day, that partner, especially right, she is with, will have this kind of financial issue. And of course, we can also do a what we call karmic relationship reading, between Joey Yong and Albert Yong. Albert Yong, let me try to find his date of birth, as I often like to conduct a real life case study and to give you a proper understanding on the karmic relationship. Of course, I will not be able to find out their time of birth because it's something that is definitely not recorded online. But to the best of my ability, he was born in 1943, and the date of birth is the March the 3rd. So as according to the information found online, what is happening to Albert Yong? I don't have his time of birth as mentioned, But we can see that Albert Young is exactly having the day master that is having the Fu Yin relationship with Zhou Yi Yong's chart. Is that interesting? It's rather interesting, right? And at the same time, we know that Albert Young is a weekday master of the gunmetal. At the earlier part of his life, especially after 40, like 1982, he has like 10, 20, 30, I would say maybe 40 years of positive financial luck due to all this decade having metal enhancing metal, earth enhancing metal. 就是说呢，它是一个身弱的根茎嘛。从他的1982年呢，这个大运全部都是通干透根的使用神通干透根的使用人是代表什么呢？财富就会很大，它本身就财富通门户的一个格局啊。Within his original chart, we can observe that the Mon pillar is having all the indirect wealth, 甲乙, enhanced by Kui water. And we, of course, is a wood storage that will, when open, will bring about great windfall, as I have touched on in earlier YouTube videos that explain the storages over void. So we can see that actually after the 35 years old already, this high water is able to open this way. So that's where he started to become extremely wealthy. As according to internet, his successful years began somewhere like after, I would say, let me check. Right. After his, right, let me kind of like referring to Wikipedia. His wealth actually started somewhere, I will say, also in 1970 plus. Yeah, 1970 plus. So exactly the same as the Baozi chart. And of course, is a long-lasting good wealth development all the way till his, I will say, 2021. Of course, after 2012, there will be stress because Ding fire is like decreasing the energy of the Jia Yin within his Baozi chart Jia Yin. When this wealth is being decreased, of course, as a weekday master of gunmetal, wealth will be divided or will see drainage. But of course, after 2022, when Bing Wu is exactly like causing extremely big fire, like a large amount of quantity of fire element within his chart, he will face financial stress, Albert Young. And of course, this year is Bing Wu, also a Fu Yin year, right? So situation is like declining for Albert Young. So at the same time, Fu Yin, Gen Shen, Albert Young. This is the day master of Albert Young or the day pillar. Looking back at Joey's chart, Joey Young, Yong Joey, exactly, right? Gen Shen. So it's a Fu Yin relationship, but they does show, that is like because Joey Young, I suppose, she is of a gunmetal day master that is strong, likely to be strong, because of if the time of birth especially is having the metal hour, and usually people who are strong in the metal element within the Baozi chart, they are often having very strong respiratory system, and most of the time they will be able to use their voice, their communication to earn money. Means being a singer, being a talk show DJ, etc. So pretty interesting, but still relationship problems like her chart by itself that shows that there will be eventual decline in the relationship partner's chart. 所以呢，我们在八字里面真的可以看到很多因果关系也是同时呢能够看得到两个人其实合不合当然你也是可以说用周乙其实某程度上也是帮助了那个 Albert Young， 对，也是可以这样说。可是说呢，有一些 hidden 的一些 signal 啦，就始终永祖乙还是永祖我不懂。拼音可是说呢，周乙用他始终呢命带福银我们说夫妻宫命带福银，始终呢哭哭啼啼不使自己使他人我们古书常常说围卧百端围卧百端是什么呢 ？A lot of obstacles, challenges, and what we call problems will occur to that partner's life, especially when it is experienced by the spouse domain. Of course, I will also do a 20 stars constellation to explain to you their karmic relationship. So Joey is 1980 and June 16, and this Albert is of the 1943, and the month is March the 3rd. So in terms of karmic relationship, what is their what we call like in terms of karmic relationship, strangely speaking, this what we call Joey Young, right? It is okay. Let me write it down so that you guys can do further research on them, because everything I share, I don't like to share it just without backing. Everything should be backed up by as much as I can, because not everything can be logically explained, in terms of historical reading. But still, I would like to be as precise and clear as possible. 用Joey Young is of this 柳书 whereas Albert Young is of this 尾卦. So their relationship is such that this way will bring about Huai relationship, means rather destructive relationship. Too. So Albert Young is actually someone who will use a Joey Young to for benefits, so to speak. And of course, early on I mentioned that way relationship people will be like often many case study that I had before of many way kind of like people, they will have this situation of what you call that, highly ambitious, highly what we call risk taker. And of course, if you refer to Albert Young's history, definitely he took a lot of risks. In fact, in the past, he was once charged in Hong Kong, what we call jurisdictional system, under the Hong Kong jurisdictional system, in 1979, perverting the cause of public justice. So on the 10th of February 1979, his brother and two other persons had an argument in the car park in the New Territories with Wang Kingbong, who was knocked unconscious and is hospitalized until 28th February. Blah, 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 blah. So all these are like kind of like injuries caused to people and stuff. And also inside the dueling in 1993, and on another charge with criminal intimidation and forced imprisonment in 1994 and 1995, and also defamation case against Google in 2011. So you can see that throughout his life, interestingly, he really committed a lot of crimes. So these are the way relationship people. They are often very daring, do not care about the laws, and they like to commit crimes. I mean, like somehow their personality, will cause them to break the rules and regulations or the laws within the society. So yeah, so very true also. And like they are always like adventurous, and in this lifetime, right, they have to be rooted somewhere. And if you are familiar with the tabloid news in Hong Kong, or 就是小报新闻like what we call 以前香港就很多这种 magazine 我们叫小怎么小就是那种我们叫 rumors 啦 so to speak Albert Young 就袁绍成嘛。就是很多 history 它有很多那种不是很好的 history。OK， 好，所以呢，这个 case study 是蛮有趣的，给你们一些 side track 但我们还是要继续讲今天的那个 topic。Yep. So all right, thank you very much. Kelvin Kwan, is it? All right. Mine is 1982 April 19, and my partner is 1981 July 28. All based on English calendar. Thank you very much. Yes, I will quickly do an analysis for you also. And thank you very much for staying on. To let today's live sharing to me is a rather interesting one, and I hope it is also a useful one for all my viewers. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I love what I do, and I share with you my knowledge out of love. Out of love, really. Love of the topic. And I hope that all of you will be able to use all this knowledge to make better decisions in life also. And quickly, we will go to Kelvin Kwan's analysis. So for Kelvin Kwan, and if you like my sharing, please help me to share my live video also. So for all of you who have like requested this sharing, help me by sharing my live video to your viewers, your friends, your relatives or friends. That will help my channel to grow also. So thank you very much for your kindness. And so let's go to the chart of what we call Kelvin. Yeah. All right, quickly. All right, because I kind of lost my chain of thought. All right, so she's 1982 April the 19th and 1981 July 28th. Yeah. All right, so let me start another new slide. All right, Kelvin, are you ready? If you're ready, please stay tuned. And of course, right, I will greatly appreciate if you will help me to share my YouTube or the Facebook post. Kelvin, you are of this Hui, and then your partner is of this Jing. This is a kind of is a Yo relationship. So what it means is that in terms of previous life, both of you were close friends. And the relationship that you have within this lifetime would also likely to be like when both of you meet, you have this unexplained sense of belonging. At the same time, both of you will have a lot of situations whereby, when both of you are together, you feel like it's very much like a friendship type of what we call relationship. Like both of you will conduct, like will have similar, like will enjoy similar hobby, or liking the same kind of places, or like having a same kind of like what we call outlook of life also, or like just somehow both of you seems to click. Yeah, so that will be the relationship between you and your partner. And other than that, I will also let you take a look, as I have earlier on already touched on the part on the Kui, but I will just open the chart again. For people who have this Kui, all right, let me find, all right, which is here. People who have this Kui would often be someone who is cultured, refined, very much like earlier I mentioned, and someone who is very knowledgeable, who loves knowledge. So Calvin Kwan, you are definitely someone who likes to learn. And for your partner, right, it is of the Jing. So let me go to the Jing. Right, let me go to the Jing. Jing is the last. So for your partner, in terms of her personality, it'll be one that is like she's often thoughtful, very deep in thought. Someone who is like even melancholic at ages, sometimes like kind of depressed kind of personality. So her mind goes down further than most are willing to follow. So you'll find like sometimes she's moody, thinking a lot, being sentimental, being how do I put it? Worrying a lot kind of person. Yeah. So past life experience, we cross scholars contemplates karmic returns through depth of conversation bonds. So you must communicate with her a lot. Yeah. In order to understand her better, or in order for her to be able to not be stuck in her own thinking and mind. And for her, this lifetime is very important for her to what we call try to show her innermost feelings and thoughts to other people, so that other people will be able to understand her, or that will also prevent communication problems from occurring. Sometimes Jing people would also be rather serious, and also too upright. And of course, being with them most of the time, like you feel like it's like stable, but when they're too direct, sometimes it may also bring about communication problems. Whereas Kui people, they will rely a lot on the Jing people. Yeah. So so both of you actually will have this mutual reliance on each other. Whereas Kui Su will often be very eager to very curious to know about like knowledge, different kinds of like information that will help them in long-term planning. and oftentimes, it's very good for their intellectual development. But still, I will still advise both of you to have proper communication, in-depth communication to sustain to sustain a harmonious relationship. If not, it will be a rather like sometimes both of you will have miscommunication issue or misunderstanding. If not, yeah. So make sure communication is something that both of you have to take look of, especially for your partner. Hopefully she's not too direct. Learn to soften, or like sometimes communication wise learn to be softer. Whereas for you, you have to be more patient, yeah, and learn not to be too reliant. Also, in terms of emotional, what we call, this nourishment, emotional nourishment. Do not rely too much on your partner, right? So that's my analysis for Kelvin, and the next person. How do I pronounce this? Yeah, Cute Quest. Okay, my sister February 14, 1993, 11:50 p.m. and her fiance 1992 November 7. All right, right, your sister. Yeah, okay. I will try. Right. All right. So your sister first. Your sister 1993, and your month is February. The what we call that 14, and then her fiance 1992 November the 7th. Yeah. All right. So in that case, all right. For others, thank you very much for your input. Yeah. Do give me some time as I go through all of your comments. Uh. Right. Right. Full in good for weekday master. Well, not necessarily. Especially if Fu Ying is also coupled with self conflicts. For example, certain Fu Ying, right, like especially those Gui Gang people, Chen Chen is a self conflict, or like Wu Wu. Yeah, especially you have Gui Gang and also self conflicts. This kind of relationship or this kind of dynamics are very negative. Yeah, so let me go through the rest of the comments first. You will hit 2000. So yeah, thank you all for your kind support. Yeah, my YouTube channel will have soon we'll be having more than 2,000 subscribers soon, and also thank to my team. They have been working very hard to help me, and without them, I would not be able to have achieved my success today. Yes, feedback from Calvin. Yes, she think very deeply, and said that I need to talk with her more so she can open. Yes, that's the case. And yes, thank you very much for the feedback from Calvin. So we can see that the 20 stars constellation is easy, direct, straightforward, and accurate. Yeah, so all of us can use this in our life. I don't know my star, January the 9, 1979. 78. Yep. I will come back to you, baby girl, very soon. And let me finish the part for Q Quest first. All right, so let's help Q Quest with the analysis for her sister. All right, so your sister is having this Qi. Qi is the sister's star, whereas the sister's partner is having this. Okay, this is called the Mao. Right, just give you the Hanning Pinyin just in case. Yeah, this Qi. Right. So for this kind of relationship, what it shows is that your sister will be having this dynamic whereby the fiance or the future marriage partner will benefit her greatly because it is a Yong relationship. As earlier mentioned, Yong relationship will be one that is highly beneficial. And in this lifetime, one side will love another side very much. In this case, likely that the future husband will love your sister very, very much. And this relationship or this love will often, like, no matter how many years they are together, one side will often continue to love each other as much as like is or as though it is the first love, like puppy love, what they call it puppy love，就好像那种初恋情人的感觉哦。所以其实是蛮好的一个关系啊，不管呢15、20年呢，他们呢在一起呢，永远都会比较说不离不弃的啊。They will stay together throughout their life, and their love will often be crazy. Like no matter how long they are together, they will still be crazily enough. Like often, like the first thing they wake up in the morning, they will like I don't know, like cook breakfast for each other. Then after that, finish work. Then the husband will give the wife a proper whole body massage with flexology and whatever. Yeah, so it's a very sweet relationship. Yeah, overall speaking, it's a very sweet and good relationship. So yes, they should get married. Yeah, I will advise them to settle down, build a happy family together, and also to touch a bit on their personality. In terms of personality, yeah, for this qi, right? Right. So go back to qi. Of course, qi is the first. I think it's the love and sky one. Yeah. Right. For qi, which is here, in terms of the personality of your sister, she'll be like someone that is talkative, resourceful, and persuasive. So communication power is her forte. In past life, some of the possible careers that she had, maybe storytellers, merchants, messengers, and also relationship reform through conversation and trade. In this lifetime, she must be cautious of the things she say. She must be mindful of her tongue because speech builds and dismantles the same fortune. So so is that the characteristics that you observed in her also? So just to highlight that communication is both her forte and also likely to be the downfall also. So right, in the future during the marriage, it's best that she be cautious in the way she communicate with her partner. If not, that may bring about communication issue. But at the same time, she can use her communication to her advantage by like working in a line of work that is requiring her to communicate constantly, like using verbal communication skill, etc. Well, the Mao person, which is the sister's fiance, someone who is charismatic, expressive, also and attention loving, born for the stage, vulnerable when the lights go down. So usually he will be the center of attention during any form of social setting, or sometimes like he'll be able to catch the attention of people. Past life, he was likely to be a performer, like public favorites, like people who are able to catch the public attention. Karmic returns show audience who watch. So yes, still someone who can be the center of attention. So in this lifetime, build the inner room, like applause is borrowed, like so has to remember that her own value, like his own worth, should not be dependent on the opinions or the views of others upon him. Yeah, there's something that he should take note of. So hopefully, this is something that's helpful for what you call that? The name is like Q Quest. Yeah, hopefully this useful for your sister and the fiance. Yep. So baby girl. Yep. So let me do analysis. So for baby girl, right? Do you have partner that you want to check on? If not, I will just tell you which star is your what we call date of birth associated to 1978 January the 9th. Okay, so in terms of 1978 January the 9th, you are having this star. Let me write it down. All right, perhaps I will just go quickly to this, to the slide itself, so that it will be direct, straightforward, without. All right, you are of this shoe star. Okay. So baby girl, you are of this shoe star. In terms of personality, you'll be resourceful, observant, and secretive. You are strategists who prefer the back of the room. Is like you are often someone who like to be behind the scene. You don't like to be at the front, like leading or being a pioneer or taking on a role that has to face the public. That is your personality or characteristics. And past life, you could be a hidden scholar behind the throne strategies advisor and karmic bonds with those they once whispered to. And in this lifetime, discretion is power, but secrecy without trust isolates. So you must choose one confidence in life, someone you can share with. That is the uh, general characteristics that are associated with your date of birth. Yep. So thank you very much for your comment also. Okay, Yvonne, Master Jason, I would like to know about Qi Shu and Chan Shu. All right, yeah, I will kind of all right, Qi Shu. I think I have touched on Qi Shu, yeah, but I will just give you a last you know explanation on the Qi Shu. All right, for Qi Shu, people of the Qi Shu, they will be resourceful, talkative, persuasive, and live by spoken word, so like strong in word communication. And this lifetime development will be more towards, sorry, let me try to hide the comment. It will be more towards like your tongue, like mind, your speech. Yeah. So as mentioned earlier, so I will not go too far, as this is the second time I'm talking about this. But for the Chan Su, yeah, Chan Su is like someone who is bold, heroic, conflict drawn, walks toward fire, others walk around. So they are risk taker. People who are of the Chan Shu are like not afraid of challenges, often getting themselves caught in conflicts or like sometimes different kinds of challenges, and they are usually like someone who is very bold and courageous. They don't mind facing problems in life, and within this lifetime, they are likely to be like sorry, in the current, I mean, sorry, in the past lifetime, they are likely to be warriors, likely to be soldiers, someone who is often in some kind of conflict or battle, and often like heroic figures. So in this lifetime, they like will channel bonus through discipline and not adrenaline. So that's the characteristics within their life, this lifetime. Yeah. So hopefully that answers your question. And all right, so no wonder I'm shy always. Haha. Yes, that's true. Yeah, I would say the star constellation that is related to your chart is often rather accurate. I would say it will show someone's personality very very succinct, in a very succinct and clear and accurate manner. Okay, so any other person having any input? All right, if not, I will just give you a few examples of the people, famous people that are having the various characteristics. Of course, they are the stars. Yeah, so I kind of like will not be able to touch on all the stars. Yeah, and today's sharing has already passed about 1.5 hours. So to conclude, yeah, indeed, we can see that our life are influenced by our past life kind of like consequences. Like I mentioned, Princess Diana was of the like is born of the what we call the heart's domain or the Sing mansion, will have unfinished love kind of affairs. Like Princess Diana basically divorced. I mean, both the Princess and Princess Diana divorced. Then subsequently, she fell in love with another man, and then they die in a tragic car accident. Of course, that's a very sad case, and unfinished love also. Like they did not, have a happy. I don't know, like can I call it happy ending? But dying in a car accident, of course, is not like a happy ending. Yeah, they would often have intense attraction and repeated emotional cycles throughout Princess Diana's life. She was also having depressions and like being I mean, reportedly she had a lot of emotional tormenting experience, psychological pains that she had due to being the princess. All the public pressure, all the rules and regulations she has to follow as the uh, as part of the royal family, and past life lovers separated by fate or duty. So perhaps okay, I think it's too much if I go into the relationship between Princess Diana and Prince Charles. All right, okay, I'm just someone who is too detail oriented. I will do that also. Yeah. All right, let's find out what is Princess Diana, right? Let me see, Princess Diana, in terms of, or Prince Charles, Prince Charles. Let me try find out Prince Charles' date of birth first. You guys know who is Prince Charles, yeah? He was born 1948 November 14. 1948 now, 1948年11月14 yeah. 1948年11月14. So let's also check on like Princess Diana date of birth so that we will be able to look at their past life karmic relationship. Princess Diana was born on 1961 July the 1st. 1961年7月1號啊，1961年7月1號，1961年7月1號。And you guys know who is Princess Diana, right? Yeah, because very beautiful princess, and but short-lived, kind of. She died when like 30s or 40s. But anyway, we can see that. But so. All right. In terms of the past karmic relationship, they were actually like friends. Yeah. I don't know why it turned out to be rather negative, but we can see that they will not have romantic feelings. Yeah, I will also write it down so that everything is clear and you guys can do further research on your own, so that right. Yeah. So okay, never mind. I think time is really running out. So I will just tell you immediately. Yeah. Princess Diana and Prince Charles. Yeah. Not like Charles is not your friend. Yeah, but the Prince Charles. So so right, they were actually of a friends relationship. So they will not have like romantic chemistry with each other. That's why after marriage, Princess Diana was depressed because it's not a romantic relationship. It's just like kind of like there's just no chemistry. So it's not a love relationship. Yeah, and ultimately for Sing mentioned people, they will have love without they have to have this self-love, learn to have self-love without self-destruction. In actual fact, if you look at the history of Princess Diana, she once had eating disorder, and that had of course there's also a kind of self-destructive behavior. Princess Diana suffered from bulimia nervosa throughout her marriage, characterized by a repetitive cycle of binge eating large quantities of food and subsequently purging to cope with emotional distress. Her struggle, later detailed in biographies, shifted the social societal conversations about eating disorder. So really, she did have self-harm behavior. So another very sad story is Marilyn Monroe, another very beautiful woman. I will not show their photos because it's copyrighted actually. Yeah. So, but you guys can do a Google search on their photos. Very beautiful woman also. Marilyn Monroe did have a lot of relationship obstacles in life as well, and of course, she also died rather young. And it was believed that she was poisoned due to her knowing some secrets that belongs to the president, the U.S. president, because rumor has it that she was dating John F. Kennedy. Yeah, and because some secrets was leaked, and that will hold a track to the president. So she died at her home in Los Angeles at the age of 36, very young. You know, the official investigation said that police department, Los Angeles Police Department concluded that she died from an acute barbiturate overdose. Probable suicide. Yeah, so called. But could be also maybe she died of suicide, which is also a form of self harm. So, lastly, Justin Bieber also have self harm behavior. Yeah, right. Two recent young fella, but a lot of self harm behavior also. And Selena Gomez. I believe recently she also suffered from a kind of mental issue. Yeah. So right, people who have this star within their life do have to like be cautious. Do not do anything that will harm yourself. And for Selena Gomez, she did have mental health issue. As reported that she has spent years struggling with severe depression and suicidal ideation. Means that people have suicidal ideation will like kind of think that suicide is a good thing, a way to escape from all the physical harm. And she did engage in physical self-harm and attempted suicide. And for Justin Bieber, um, we our social media did had a post on in the social media, uh, of Justin Bieber, yeah, and he also explain public, she publicized acts of self harm, openly struggle with mental health, trauma, depression in his personal life, yeah. So really, yeah, very sad case, yeah, and often a lot of emotional issue. Well, whereas like people like Deeper Mansion, you know who is Deeper Mansion, right? I will just give you some background info. I don't think most of you are familiar with him. For Deeper Mansion, he is sorry. Oh, okay. Sorry. I mean, like for Deeper Mansion is the Dosu, all right? It's like Lee Kuan Yew, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, right? Usually related to justice and leadership archetype. People like our previous Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew, Abraham Lincoln, of course, a very famous U.S. Politician. I think he was being like the 16th president of the United States, serving from 1861 until his assassination in 1865. And Margaret Thatcher, and other very famous politician, a female politician, also having this dosu. People who have the dosu would often be like in a kind of justice and leadership position. Yeah. So also they will have strong principles and leadership presence, past life tied to law, governance, and authority. And lessons in this lifetime is like mercy, but mercy must learn balance power. Well, okay, looking back at the personal history of Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew, I think uh it's not what we call, it's not something that is okay. Let me put this properly. Yeah, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew was, in a way, having this very ruthless reputation that stems from his pragmatic, unyielding approach to governance, which prioritized survival and economic transformation of Singapore above all else. His iron fisted methods were instrumental in eliminating corruption, quelling political dissent, and driving rapid modernization, but they also severely restricted, to some extent, civil liberties. But of course, it's all for the good of Singapore. Singapore is too small to run in a fully developed democratic style governance because it's just too fragile. And we cannot undermine the power of strict security laws and legal action in Singapore for the government, especially the main government, to consolidate power and to neutralize political opposition. Because we have observed in real life places like Hong Kong, like I don't know, like even Australia or like America or Britain, sometimes having two diverse views in terms of politics is not a positive thing for governance, especially if you have a country that is extremely fragile. So we did, in Singapore, previous Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew did propose things like Internal Security Act means, right? Like it can be used to detain suspected communist agitators and political opponents without trial, sometimes for decades. and defamation lawsuits frequently sued political rivals and international media outlets for libel, winning substantial damages that bankrupted opponents and stifled dissenting speech. These things, I mean, these occurrences are commonly observed throughout the history of Singapore. I have no comments. I'm just reading, to you the history of Singapore. But I still believe that, especially due to the early stages of Singapore's development, highly chaotic under pressure from neighboring countries that are very powerful, like Malaysia, Indonesia, China, and other, like communist kind of influence. Singapore government did have to be strong-handed in their approach. So that was the history of Singapore. Yep. Right. So I'll take a look at the comments of Baby Girl, Royal Gossips, third party, Dodi, Alfred. She died, 36 years old. Not very familiar with this person, but yeah, yes, a lot of royal people, family members, they kind of live rather unhappy life also, to be honest. So Selena Gomez was terribly ill surgery, kidney transplant I heard before, and Justin Bieber, bad gossips. Yeah, a lot of them actually face a lot of media pressure, etc. Yeah, but we can see that we did all of us are born with certain kind of past life influences that will affect us in the present life in terms of our career choices, our profession, our life development. Yeah. So lessons this lifetime must learn like mercy. Mercy must balance power. So eventually, the previous Prime Minister Goh Chok Tong, when he took over, he did propose, Singapore should be a more compassionate society. That's something that I personally is an ideal that I personally admire also. Yep. Right. Ultimately, people of the Mao, they are performer, fame, archetype like Michael Jackson, Taylor Swift. Some people criticize me for pronouncing always pronouncing as Taylor Swift. Yeah, she's sweetie, right? I don't know. You guys call her sweetie, right? So it's like Taylor Swift. Yeah, I just can't. Maybe it's my Cantonese tongue. Yeah. Actually, what's the difference between sweet and sweet? Yeah, sweet and sweet. Yeah, I kind of digress, but like, right. But anyway, you guys know, yeah. Swift, yeah, Taylor Swift, yeah, not Taylor Swift, yeah. So Taylor Swift, a beautiful singer, and also I don't know any of her songs, yeah, but Michael Jackson, Lady Gaga, yeah, all these are like performer and good in music, charismatic, emotionally fueled by recognition, past life as performers and entertainers. So in this lifetime, they must find identity beyond applause. Like after leaving the stage, who are you? What actually make you you? Is it always just about that image that you have built throughout your entertainment industry? So kind of like identity issue, what we call. Well, actually, look at Lady Gaga. Yeah, I don't know why most of the time like she has to be dressed up in a very uh unconventional manner, like having very unique fashion sense. I don't know. Whereas Michael Jackson growing up not having a childhood, that definitely affected his personality and his self-image also. Taylor Swift, I'm not familiar with her, to be honest, so I will not comment. Okay, so Adelaide, Master Jason, hope you've been well. Yeah, thank you very much. Hope you're doing well also. Yep. So I hope today's sharing has been an interesting one and have been able to help my viewers understand their destiny better, and also have a understanding on why certain relationships failed in their life and how you can choose your relationship partner more wisely in the future, because all these influences or karmic consequences are real. And if you cannot modify your house feng shui, and you're not someone who is like constantly having this habit of cultivating positive merits or learning, and one of the most effective way to improve your life is choosing the right people to be within your life. if you choose the wrong partner, you are really there to pay off infinite amount of karmic debts. And sometimes it is a painful process that will affect you to no end. So remember, when you choose a business partner, when you choose a spouse, or sometimes even like choosing your, I don't know, domestic helper. Sometimes in Singapore, certain domestic helper will kill their employer, like will kind of like physically abuse the children. Sometimes it's also a kind of karmic relationship. So you cannot be too random in the choosing of the people that you surround yourself with. Is really very important. And that is sometimes more easily conducted than feng shui audit. Feng shui audit, you have to, if you don't know feng shui, of course, you have to invite a feng shui practitioner to go to your house, do a boundary reading or this kind of like star constellation reading, then ultimately modify your house, sometimes due to limitation of the floor plan. In the case of Singapore, most houses already built, you cannot tear it down and rebuild it again. And most of the Singaporeans are too busy afterward. All the energy that they have is they look at their phones, scroll through the Facebook posts or Instagram or TikTok. Then they sleep. Then it's another day. They repeat work. They don't have time to do charity work or like exercise compassion or kindness. Most of the time, they are also not willing to study, right? So like choosing the right relationship in your life would be one of the most effective way. All right. So Taylor Swift, country style songwriter as well, very famous to the Gen Z. Yes, I'm not Gen Z. Yeah, I am like born in the 80s. Okay, yeah. Although I don't look like that old, but honestly, I am old. I am almost in my 50s very soon. So right, don't be deceived by my appearance. Okay, yeah, right. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much also, Mimi Maria, for sharing my live broadcast, and the rest of the viewers. If you feel that today's sharing is good, is helpful, and is meaningful, able to help you understand your life better, do share it for me, so that it will benefit more people. And I will see you in the next live video, live broadcast, likely maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Nowadays, I like will come on to live more often. So stay tuned, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.